All right, so I've been a Star Wars fan for most of my life, and Return of the Jedi is one of my favorite Star Wars films because of the speeder scenes where the stormtroopers are chasing around Ewoks on speeders. And there's a company out of Poland that might be making this a reality. Today we're going to be talking about a company called Volonaut, which is a Polish-based startup company that's focused on revolutionizing personal air mobility through the development of innovative jet-powered hover bikes, most notably the Volonaut Airbike. Now, the company was founded in 2021 by the Polish inventor and entrepreneur Tomas Patan. The company aims to redefine short-distance traveling by creating compact, agile, and futuristic flying vehicles that evoke the aesthetic and functionality of science fiction, particularly resembling the speeder bikes from Star Wars. Now, I want you to think for just a moment. Just imagine for a moment. Imagine the implications if you could use these things in war. And I'm not saying they should become part of the military-industrial complex, but what I'm saying is, like, think about if they had these things in Ukraine right now. Mines are a huge problem in Ukraine, but if you had speeder bikes that floated above the ground and you can move really fast with them over whatever type of terrain you want, the implications are pretty astounding. Imagine you could just have squads of people squatted up on hover bikes, floating over terrain, bypassing any obstacles, not only physical obstacles, because they can just fly right over any type of concertina wire, or they could fly over any type of mines or any type of tank traps. They wouldn't have to worry about it being muddy. They wouldn't have to worry about the ground being permafrost. They wouldn't have to worry about poison ivy. They wouldn't have to worry about any type of improvised explosive devices, because you're not going to trip it unless there's somebody that's sitting there watching with a remote control and remote detonating it. Obviously, that's a different story, but as far as like victim activated stuff, that would be completely done out of the question. You could bypass all that stuff. I just want you to think about that for a moment, because there's a lot of stuff going on right now in Ukraine where these soldiers could use some stuff like this, and across the rest of the planet too. I mean, there's so many ways this could be used to benefit the soldier on the front line. That's all I'm saying. Now, obviously, the stormtroopers use these things, and it helped them pretty well. They helped them navigate the rough terrain of the forest moon of Endor pretty good. So I would imagine that you could navigate the forests of Ukraine or wherever else you go on planet Earth as well. Anyway, I want to kind of elaborate a little bit more on what Volonaut is, what their mission is, their products, their technology, and the availability of these things, and who can buy them and who's going to be able to get them. So currently the company's headquartered in Palo Alto, California, according to its LinkedIn profile. And the company is pretty small, reportedly consisting of just one employee as of the latest updates, suggesting that it's still in the early stages of development. Its mission, as they stated on LinkedIn, is defining new means of mobility, emphasizing lightweight jet-powered vehicles designed for individual use. The company was founded, like I said before, by a guy named Tomas Patan, who's a serial innovator known for his work on the Jetson 1, which is a one-person electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft developed by Jetson, a company that he co-founded. Now, Patan's experience with Jetson 1, which gained significant attention for its compact design and successful test flights, has informed Volonaut's approach to creating a new class of personal flying vehicles. There's a lot of benefit to the military if this kind of thing got adopted by the military, but also additionally, imagine if you could have this as a civilian and you're just like riding, instead of using your dirt bike or your four-wheeler and you live in the country. It'd be a harder thing to regulate as far as like inner cities, because like how are you going to regulate traffic and like coordinate who's like driving in what area? Obviously the government's not going to like something like this because it completely removes any type of control or order, which obviously the government likes to have, especially the state government, you know, the local municipalities. That's why they like their traffic lights. They can hand out traffic tickets. How are you going to hand out a traffic ticket to a dude that's on a hover bike if you're in a cop car down on the ground? You're just going to look at him and be like, hey, wait, come back, come back, come back, come back. You know, obviously a lot of hurdles that you're going to have to overcome, and a lot of adapting, a lot of new stuff that would have to come out to adapt to new technology. And as new technology evolves, then people are going to find new ways to adapt to it. That's just the way it is. Now, anyway, back to the founder. His background as an engineering visionary drives Volonaut's ambitious goal to materialize sci-fi inspired concepts into practical, real-world solutions. Now, obviously, like I said before, the flagship product of Volonaut is the Airbike, the Volonaut Airbike. It's also been referred to as the Jet Speeder in some company posts. Now, this is the primary product that the company manufactures so far, and it's a pioneering achievement in personal air mobility. It's been described as a super bike for the skies. Now, the Airbike is a single-seat jet-powered hover bike. It's designed to carry one rider at speeds of up to 200 kilometers per hour or 124 miles per hour. It's marketed as a breakthrough in personal transportation, offering a unique blend of speed, agility, and an unobstructed flying experience. Now, some key features of the Volonaut Airbike are as follows. Unlike many vertical takeoff landing vehicles that rely on electric motors and visible propellers, the Airbike uses a jet propulsion system, likely powered by microturbine engines burning Jet A fuel or a similar propellant. The absence of external rotors or spinning blades enhances safety and allows the vehicle to navigate through confined spaces, such as forests or urban environments. Now, the propulsion system remains proprietary, with Volonaut withholding specific technical details to maintain a sense of magic around the vehicle, and also because they want to make sure that nobody's stealing their stuff to try to manufacture it before they get the opportunity to get the company off the ground, because there's a lot of dirt bags out there that would love to steal your stuff to make it faster, who have more financial backing perhaps, and they knew they could make a quick buck and make a crap ton of money off of it, because I guarantee there's people out there that are looking at this like, ooh, maybe we can steal this and make it for ourselves. So I don't blame them for withholding those specific technical details. Now, there's been posts on LinkedIn that have described it as a quote, sweet and addictive sound, end quote, of jet engines spooling up, indicating the use of turbojet or some similar sort of technology. Now, the next thing is it's got a pretty lightweight design, apparently. The Airbike's constructed using advanced carbon fiber materials and 3D printed components, resulting in a vehicle that is reportedly 7 times lighter than a conventional superbike, which typically weighs somewhere around 390 to 600 pounds, or if you're in Europe, 177 to 272 kilograms. And what this translates to is an estimated weight of approximately 56 to 86 pounds for the Airbike, which equates to 25 to 39 kilograms if you're not in America. Now, obviously, like when you put a rider on there, it's going to increase the total weight of the bike with the person on top. So now they built this thing with a minimalist intent behind it, because they wanted to eliminate any unnecessary framing, wings, enclosures, or anything that's sticking off of it. So that way you could fly in these tighter areas, like through forests or in a city. Minimalist ideas were definitely a core part of designing this sleek aerodynamic silhouette of this bike. Ultimately, this ended up resulting in a reduced weight of the thing because you got less crap sitting on there that's attached to it. Next, the Airbike features a proprietary stabilization system enhanced by a flight computer, which provides automatic hover and intuitive control. The system filters rider inputs, allowing for precise maneuvering and stability, even in challenging or tough to navigate environments. Now, the rider is able to control the vehicle using 2 joysticks and body tilts similar to a motorcycle. Or if you're on a horse, you kind of lean to one direction or another, then the horse will kind of go in that direction, right? Now, the stabilization technology enables the Airbike to hover effortlessly and perform agile maneuvers, such as navigating close to obstacles like rooftops or trees, as demonstrated in a lot of the test footage. Now, one key thing to remember about this is that the Airbike has no enclosed frame or cage, because they wanted to make it a sleek designed, minimalist design, right? That means that you've got an unobstructed 360-degree view when you're on top of this thing. However, if an accident were to occur, well, you wouldn't have anything around you and you're probably just gonna fall right off of it. Now, the intent behind how you're supposed to ride this thing is the rider's supposed to lean forward, almost like you're riding a motorcycle, and that's supposed to enhance the sensation and the freedom of immersion in the flight. Now, this open design differentiates it from other eVTOLs such as the Jetson 1, which has a more enclosed lounge-like seating arrangement. You've also seen a lot of other drones, like some of the ones that are in China that are like the taxis that are flying that people can get inside of, but that's all fully enclosed. Very different from this, plus that's not being controlled by the person inside of it. Now, apparently the Airbike's design is heavily inspired by science fiction, particularly the speeder bikes from Star Wars, like I was saying earlier in the video, which I'm pretty sure the guy is a huge fan of Star Wars who founded this thing because he made some posts on May the 5th about Revenge of the 5th. Also, he made some posts on May the 4th as well in reference to May the 4th be with you. So the guy's a huge Star Wars fan, which I'm all about it. I'm all about nerds. I have a lot of tendencies that are nerdish myself. I love video games. I love Star Wars. I love the Lord of the Rings. I love all that stuff. I love fantasy. I love all that stuff. I like technology. This is cool stuff. Some of the coolest technology ever made was made by nerds. So gotta give them credit. I know people used to get made fun of for being a nerd in high school, but guess what? Those people grew up and now they're making a crap ton more money than probably the people that were making fun of them. Now, some of the videos of the Airbike, including one, feature a rider in a stormtrooper costume, and they have definitely capitalized on this resemblance. They generated significant online buzz as a result, including the guy that designed the whole thing and the founder of the company. All right, let's talk about a little bit of performance specifications. So like I talked about before, this thing can travel up to 200 kilometers per hour or 124 miles per hour. Right now, it's currently estimated that it can fly for about 20 minutes at a time based on comparisons to the Jetson 1. The specific details for the Airbike are not publicly confirmed as of yet. Now, the thing is very maneuverable. It's capable of operating in tight spaces due to its compact size and extreme and lack of external rotors. So that means that you can travel around trees and all kinds of other stuff and get pretty close to it without having to worry about accidentally hitting a tree and crashing. You don't have to worry about the rotors accidentally breaking and falling off and rendering it useless that way either. Now, as far as a landing gear is concerned, there are angular struts that are made of composite materials that serve as the landing gear, designed for soft landings and takeoffs. Now, the Airbike's still a working prototype. It's not finalized, it's not finished, it's not on the market to be sold just yet. The first successful flight was conducted in May of 2023 after earlier models failed. There's been more test footage released in April and May of 2025 showing the Airbike flying over deserts, forests, and valleys, demonstrating its ability to hover, glide, and land without assistance. Now, apparently, Volonaut even developed the Airbike in, quote, stealth mode, because they revealed as little information as possible because they didn't want people to really know what they were working on until they unveiled it May 1st of 2025. Now, what this ended up doing is built the anticipation and definitely contributed to the viral response in its launch videos. Now, these guys have flight videos that are posted all over the place. They're on LinkedIn, X, on YouTube, everywhere. And they show the bike in action, including flights in confined spaces to test agility and also precision. The company has emphasized the authenticity of these videos, with Patan stating, "The video is as real as it gets. No trickery there, not a bit of AI." Because there's been a lot of skepticism from critics online who were questioning the legitimacy of some of these videos. Now, the use of jet propulsion over traditional propeller sets this Airbike apart from most eVTOLs because it offers higher speeds and potentially greater durability in certain environments, though it may produce more noise as a result. Additionally, the proprietary stabilization system and flight computer enable intuitive control, which will hopefully make the Airbike a little bit more accessible to riders who don't have any extensive pilot training, because most people don't have time to go to pilot school. However, I would imagine that if and when these things get released for public purchase, you'll probably be required to have some sort of license to drive it, the same way that you have to have a drone license to fly certain types of drones. Now, regardless of any type of like certifications or licensing or any of that stuff, this is still a significant step towards democratizing personal air mobility, because ultimately there's some serious liberty in being able to use something like this. The only way this is going to become a reality is from private companies who are motivated intrinsically to build something that's revolutionary like this. Now, as of yet, the Airbike is not commercially available, and Volonaut has not released a pricing or specific launch time frame. However, the company has indicated that it is highly probable that the Airbike will go to market in the near future, suggesting that there is still ongoing development and regulatory efforts that they're facing in the market. Now, currently, the Airbike is positioned as a personal mobility solution for individuals that are seeking a thrilling, futuristic alternative to traditional transportation. However, like we said before, if they, for whatever reason, wanted to get involved in the defense industry, I'm certain that the US government and any other government across the planet would want to buy these things to supply their soldiers with as a means to bypass mines or any other type of ground-laden explosive devices. Because, and we talked about this before, but like imagine if you had these on a Pacific island that was very thick and muddy and had quicksand and things were getting bogged down in the jungle. Yeah, it's loud, so you're not gonna be sneaking around and they're gonna know you're there. But if you need to like move fast over terrain that's very difficult to navigate and you can fly, I mean, you can still fly low. Depends on how much these things cost though, I think, at the end of the day, like to see if it's like cost effective to have one per person or something like that. But just saying, there's a market there. There is a market there. Now, some of the suggested potential uses for this thing that people have been seeing or saying is that there could be recreational flying, short distance travel, urban exploration, and maybe even like friendly competition. Now, it's been suggested that the cost for this thing is going to be relatively high and that the regulatory hurdles may limit its initial market to affluent enthusiasts or specialized applications. I think that Volonaut does aim to ultimately make this thing available to a wide variety of individuals. Now, currently, the personal air mobility field is a growing and competitive market, and Volonaut's gonna have to compete with a lot of different companies like Jetson One, Pivotal Helix, X Turismo, and the Razor flying motorcycle. But I do think that the Airbike's jet propulsion and open air design is gonna give it a unique niche and possibly an edge over the competition. Some of the challenges that they may face are going to be probably just noise, fuel efficiency, and then regulatory approval compared to electric powered alternatives. Now, some of the regulatory considerations for this thing are these personal hover bikes like the Airbike have to navigate complex aviation regulations, including safety certifications, airspace restrictions, and pilot licensing requirements. Now, Volonaut hasn't publicly detailed its regulatory strategy yet, but with its experience with the Jetson One, which doesn't require a pilot's license in some jurisdictions, it's probably going to help their approach. Now, obviously, with anything that is cutting edge or anything that is new and innovative that's never been done before, you're going to get a lot of critics. You're going to get a lot of hate. And there's people all over the internet that are still raising concerns about the practicality, safety, commercial viability, and whether or not this thing is even feasible to do. And those are usually the people that don't come up with these innovative ideas because they don't want to navigate these difficult things that you have to overcome. The people that really create things are the people that are willing to take risk, try things that haven't been tried before, and think outside the box. There's also a lot of speculation that some of these early videos may rely on cranes or video editing, though Patan and Volonaut have refuted those claims. Now, the fact that Patan used to work with Jetson One tells me that this guy's got at least a little bit of credibility as far as records concerned for personal flight devices. Though as far as scaling production and ensuring safety, those are going to remain like significant hurdles, especially since there's only one employee right now. Now, the Jetson One's price point is about $92,000 per Jetson One. I would imagine that this thing's probably going to have a high price point, especially initially, so that may limit the amount of people that can purchase this thing, at least in the near term. Now, I've heard that Volonaut may also explore additional vehicle designs or applications such as emergency response or industrial use to diversify its portfolio. Some of the LinkedIn posts that they've been putting out there have been hinting at ongoing prototyping and testing, which suggests a pipeline of different various innovations from their products. Now, Volonaut is definitely one of the most forward-thinking startups that I've seen in a while, and I am very excited to see what kind of things they come up with in the future and to see who else ends up testing these prototypes out and how well they work. And I'd like to see some live demonstrations at maybe some of these shows, perhaps. And if they get involved with the federal government, potentially, there's going to be a lot of testing, and they will prove that this thing works. I wish them the best luck and success in this thing, because I think this is really freaking cool. And I thought that some of you out there might too. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully we all learned something. Hopefully this thing comes out, and maybe one day we can own one. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments below. And as always, we will see you in the next video. Bye for now.